Oh my God, I almost touched that toilet seat. Oh, back away. Gross. Welcome back to my flippin' van life. We are antiquing across America from Maine to California, and today we are in Ohio, and it is a beautiful day. The sun is peeking through all the trees, changing color, and you're in for a treat. Today we are at the Goodwill outlet, also known as the bins, where you pay by the pound, except for right here. Right when you walk in, they actually have a couple of things on the shelves because they consider them higher end items and they price them individually. And I appreciate that. I didn't find anything, but I can see why they do that. They don't want to pay for the pound because here it is $1.59 per pound. Look at that fish. I mean, the fish is amazing, but it's made out of cement. And I am not about to ship that. So I put him back because I knew we had a lot to go through. It was a very calm morning. I gotta say, I have been to bins all across the country, and this has been the calmest one I have ever been to. There was probably about 12 of us in there, which is kind of like unheard of. Usually there's a line waiting when you walk up to get in, and today there wasn't. So right off the bat, I found this Smokey the Bear hat, and Smokey the Bear is very well collected, so I did buy that. This was a fun toy clapper. It's Melissa and Doug, which is a great brand name for toys, but I didn't get it. So the thing about the bins is you got to be careful because when things are only $1.59 a pound, you can get a little overboard. I kept finding all these ribbons. Some were new, some were used, and I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on with these ribbons. There was Christmas. I did not get them. They were more modern. And when I first started reselling seriously, there was a Goodwill bins not too far from me, and I used to go there every day, and I found some amazing stuff. All right, one of the key points you got to do is open bags. I know that sounds like kind of gross, but just open them. Because look at all these treasures I found in here. These are new in-bag Longaberger basket liners. I'm like, what? What is this? These retail for about $5 to $15 depending on what it is, what it fits into, the color, the pattern obviously all plays a factor. And these are new old stock. Some of them are out of the bag, but they look like they've never been used. There's a nice striped one, and I got all of them. And there was 10 of them. So at $1.59 a pound, I think in maximum, these were $2 for all of these Longaberger liners. And I thought, you know what? I'll just lot them up. There's 10 of them. Here's the thing. When it comes to the Goodwill bins, I am all about the fast nickel versus the slow dime because I don't have room and you can easily get carried away. So if I lot them up and list them for $39, I think that's a great deal for someone. I found that basket, which I thought was Longaberger as well. I'm not so sure now that I researched it a little bit. It is signed on the bottom, but I have no stamp that it's Longaberger. There's some Easter stuff. Actually, that vintage Easter straw sells well. And the funny thing is, I went through this whole bag looking for Longaberger baskets, and there were none. Just the liners. All these liners, no baskets. And that's the star pattern. I don't know if I know that one. Nope, not Longaberger. It is the weirdest thing. Lots of baskets, none of Longaberger. So I did get them all. And like I said, there's 10 of them. And at the end, I'm going to show you everything that I listed because it's already up on eBay. And like I said, I'm all about the fast nickel. So I want to undercut everybody else who is selling these. Of course, all the Goodwill bins I've ever been to have books. And my mom loves James Patterson. I almost got it. And the books are priced differently. I think they're like 10 cents each or something. It's super cheap. Whatever it is, it's super cheap. Quarter. And there's some people that sit at the bins and scan the UPC codes to see if that's worth anything. And when I was in Florida, they only did books. And you get to start to know people when you come to the bins often, and you find what each other likes and you help each other out. It's not all cutthroat like some people make it out to be. When you stay at the same Goodwill bins and you go to it day after day, like I did in Florida, you all get to know each other and you keep an eye out for what each other likes. Like I had a friend down there that did all shot glasses. So I kept all the shot glasses just for her. I almost touched that toilet. It was the most disgusting thing. See, I don't use gloves unless I'm going through glass. This bins did not have any glass, and I will touch just about anything except rugs and toilets. That is my limit. All right, now that is music. I used to listen to listen to those all the time. So I'm like, oh, which one is this? All right, didn't need it. Didn't even look to see if it was in there. But you got to keep digging. Like, you just got to dig, because I have found at the bottom of some Goodwill bins, Swarovski. I have found jewelry. I mean, it's amazing what you can find. I have found, well, that's a Vera Bradley, and it's a real pretty color. But I have found at the Goodwill bins pottery. I found Hager. I have found Salmon Falls. I have found just like Murano. I found Chalet. I have found Glassy Baby. My very first Glassy Baby was found at a bins. So you never know what you're going to find. In here, there's just a bunch of hats. Now, I'm not big on hats. I don't know what's good and what's not. I know I just like Smokey the Bear, so I did pick up that one. And that was just a mesh bag. I thought it was going to be like a fruit holder or something, but it wasn't. And so I kept looking through, see if there's anything I had to have. That was a cool little corduroy one. I love corduroy. And sometimes if you go through the pockets, you might even find some money. I've heard that happening before. I have never found money. I mean, that's not true. I found a penny in one of the purses today. And then I like these fake flowers. They were lavender, and I keep a lot of lavender fake flowers in my van because I can't have real ones. But I'm like, no, I don't need it. I have plenty of flowers. So I kept going. There was a baseball mitt, and I keep digging to the bottom. Like, I always find the best stuff on the bottom, the small stuff. And I found some sunglasses, lots of sunglasses, and it's always good to go through to see if there's any good brand names. I didn't find any good brand names today, but it doesn't hurt to look. Even glasses that look like they were prescription or readers, you might want to read the frames, because just the frames alone can sell well on eBay as well. So here's some there they are. They ended up being just readers, but I'm like, what if those were prescription and they were good ones? So you never know. Like Dolce & Gabbana make good ones, and Ray-Ban. So you just got to check them just to be on the safe side. None of those ended up being name brands, so I did leave them. Though I could probably use some readers. You guys know I can't read a darn thing lately. I got to go get some new contacts and glasses because my farsightedness is getting worse. All right, over here, there's toys mixed in with more baskets. I don't know if somebody donated like their entire basket collection, but none of them are Longaberger. I didn't find a single Longaberger basket, just the liners. But of course I had to check because, you know, that's what's on the mind right now. And then look at this. It's a pug toy, and I have this one already in my van. Pete got it for me, so I left it behind because I already have it. Here's a cross stitch that was really well done. I like the deer on it. And then over here, I found like tapestries before. I found pictures before. I found so much good stuff at the bins that people just throw away. Look at this. It's a navy patch. I'm like, people like military patches. Maybe I'll pick it up. It's going to cost me, what, 10 cents? I'll research it later. And that's another tip. When you go to the bins and it's super busy, put it in your cart and sort through it later. Honestly, you just got to get to the good stuff. If you get there early when they first open, all the bins are fresh and you can get some of the good stuff and just get it in the bin and figure it out later. That's another helpful tip. But it was so slow here today, which shocked me. So I was able to take my time and not have to do that. Usually I'm like shoulder to shoulder with other people, and today was not the case. But while I was there, they did not wheel out any new bins. Of course, I just got there and they just opened, so that's probably why. But I have to, oh, someone donated The Parent Trap. That's a great movie. I'm shocked. But I'm keep going, see if I can find any vintage treasures or anything that I could be personally used for myself or the van. And I'm not seeing anything. Oh, that was a really cute snowman, but one of his arms was broken off. I swear, you could do like a whole Christmas right from the bins. Not gift-wise, but like decorations, like those ribbons, those bows. They have replacement bulbs. They have all kinds of Christmas decor. You can usually find Christmas trees and ornaments here, albeit not necessarily vintage ones, wrapping paper. You can find Christmas wrapping paper here for all your wrapping paper needs. Or even if you're a reseller and you're tight and you're watching your budget, you can use wrapping paper as paper filler for your fragiles. Now, I have this JanSport bag, this exact same one. It's the one I use to go shower when I'm at Planet Fitness, and I'm like, you know what? I can use another one. I love it. It's a great one. So I threw it in the cart. I have it. I bought it. So I'm still going. And the other hint or advice I would give you is if you are going to buy anything that's like a textile and cloth, I highly recommend you just go straight to the laundromat and wash it, because you don't know what's on there. And I'm not a germaphobe. It's just the right thing to do. Look at all those ribbons I found. So today is laundry day. That's exactly what I plan on doing. Oh, look, Calvin Klein. Some of those glasses holders actually do resell well, but there was nothing in there, so I left it behind. And there was a really cute, it could have been an elf, but it was broken. So here's all that ribbon I kept picking up, and I ended up getting like 30 spools of ribbon. Some are vintage, some are newer. They have different patterns, different colors. There's hearts, I have stripes, I have plaid, and I don't know what they're going to sell for, but when I looked up lots of ribbon online, they were selling for like $20 to $30 for a lot. And look, that one's a lacy one. So I'm like, what the heck? This is going to cost me what, $3 or $4 max? Probably like $3. So I'm just going to pick it up and figure it out. And that's another good thing about the Goodwill bins, because I'm so limited on space. If I have it listed for 2 weeks and it doesn't sell, I can just redonate it. I don't have a whole lot into it. It's not like my investment isn't going to have a return. If I sell just one thing, it usually pays for the whole trip. So even if I sell one thing from this whole trip, it's going to pay for it. And then everything else is just profit. So it's okay to take a risk. And even here, I rarely research anything. I just throw it in the basket and I'll figure it out later. And another helpful tip is to look through all the bins. It doesn't matter what it is primarily filled with, because even in the sneaker bin, you might find like tchotchkes or kitsch or glass. Like, people will load up their basket, and then, like I said, if it's super busy, you go through it at the end, and they will sit in a corner and go through their basket, and whatever they don't want, they just discard it back into the bins. Look at all this Christmas wrap I just found. New, old stock Christmas wrapping. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's going to cost you what, 25 cents for that roll? You can't get any cheaper than that. Look at this fantastic Santa wrapping paper. I don't know. I think it's a good idea just to get your wrapping paper from here. People will just throw it out anyway. I don't know. Anyway, so like I was saying, people will go through their basket, throw what they don't want back into the bin, and usually it's at the ends. So always pay extra special attention to the ends of bins, because it's stuff that people discard. Now, of course, when you're at the bins, you have to do multiple layers of check-in before you check out, before you cash out. You have to make sure there's no stains or rips or damage or chips, because glass is just thrown in here. Ceramics are just thrown in here. There might be a paint chip. So you just got to be extra careful, looking everything over before you purchase it. And of course, when it comes to textiles, which I don't do a lot of, but if you are one of those people that buy clothing, you got to make sure there's no rips or stains or smells. Sometimes they can have a real funky smell, and it's not guaranteed to come out. So even though you go straight to the laundromat, I don't even recommend bringing it home. Go right to the laundromat to wash these. You just still want to double check, because you don't want to waste your money on something that's not going to come out, like a stain or something. Hangers. I always find hangers. If you ever need hangers, just come to the bins. I almost touched that toilet again. Oh my God. I'm like, no, can't deal with that. No. And it doesn't hurt to go around a couple times because people, like, it's kind of like the tides coming in and out. People just kind of like dredge up new stuff because they dig all the way to the bottom like me, and new stuff pops up. So if you go around a couple times, you're gonna still find something that's new. Look, I'm still finding ribbon. Look at all this ribbons. Like I said, I had like 30 something spools of ribbon, and we're just gonna throw them dirt cheap on eBay and see if anybody wants them. It makes me sad because if they don't get, this is like their last chance before it goes to the landfill. Like these envelopes, like who doesn't want envelopes? An office could use those. They're new in their box. I mean, I can't use them for shipping or anything, so they're no use to me, but it makes me sad that people go to like stores and pay $10 for a box when you can come here and pay like a quarter for all of them. Oh, look at that ribbon. Pretty plaid. I rolled it up and I threw it in the basket. And sometimes when you go to cash out, they just weigh the whole basket, and sometimes they make you put it on a scale. Everywhere's a little different. Today I had to put it on the scale, and everything I bought was the same weight, because sometimes I go to different bins, and depending on what it is, like the one I go to in Florida, when you see a box, you have to open it, and it was Christmas. It was a Christmas bunny. So when I go to the bins in Florida, you can fill an entire plastic bin of glass, and it's like $8 or $9, and that's insane. It's not by the pound, it's by the bin. And I would, like I said, I find some fantastic stuff there. So I love the Goodwill bins. I forgot how much fun I have at them. Look at that Santa. He wasn't as old as I was hoping. He probably wasn't made in China. It had sticker residue on the bottom. And there was another snowman. Again, you can decorate your whole house just from stuff from the bins for Christmas. It shocks me how much people just get rid of just because they're done with it, even though it's in perfectly good condition. There's some plaid ribbon, some silk ribbon, green ribbon. I got all of them. Look at them all. I'm like, I'm just going to pick them up. It looks like somebody had a yard sale and they didn't sell. They were like marked for like 50 cents, 25 cents. There's a nice lacy one. And I just got them all. Some of them were vintage, and I'm like, fine, they're going in the cart. And these were notepads, but they weren't like the regular kind. They had like graphs on them. So if they were the regular kind, I probably would have picked up a couple for myself. And then in here was a cute little costume, and it was a deer. And I'm like, Halloween's coming. I have a pretzel dog. Pretzel can be a deer for Halloween. And look how cute it is. Also, and so another tip is you don't have to take everything. So I just picked 2 things out of that bag, but I left behind the bag and the hooves, because the hooves, like, Pretzel's not going to wear the hooves. So everything is by the weight. So if you can leave behind a little part of something, it's going to be cheaper for you. So see the bag and the hoofs? I didn't take them. They're right there. I'm like, all right, I don't need those. So that's another helpful hint for you. Just take what you need. And if something is in packaging and you don't need the packaging, take it out of the packaging, especially if it's like in a heavy box or a metal container or anything like that. They have so much stuff here. It took me probably an hour and a half to go through everything, I would say. And look at this. Here is a craft wood box. Like, yes, craft cheese, Velveeta. They used to put the blocks of Velveeta in wood containers, and they make great risers. They sell for about $10, and of course that's going to cost me like 50 cents. So if anything else, I'm going to use it as a riser for my sales online when I go live on Knickknacks. I think it would be great for the jewelry train, and I can just put my jewelry up on there and give it another layer. And then when I'm tired of it, I will list it on eBay. And then I found a photo album. I get so sad when I find donated photo albums. But this one was empty, so I didn't have to get sad. If it had pictures in it, I would get, I don't know. That's like memories that you're just donating and throwing away. And then the other thing I always find here is a lot of camping stuff. Like you will find tents, chairs, coolers, you name it, you can find it here. Ice packs. A lot of camping stuff I find here. Look at that basket for laundry. Like, that'd be $20 if you went and bought a new one. So even if it's just not for resale and you can look for yourself, go for it. So here I'm just kind of giving you a glance of what the clothing bins, Pretzel is snoring again, the clothing bins look like. And like I said, I'm not into the textiles. I don't really pick up clothing. I just don't have the space, the knowledge, the research to do that. So I have found new with tag items but in the bins before. I didn't go through them today because like I said, that's not something I resell, but I just wanted to walk through it and give you guys an idea of some of the stuff you could find. Like, look at this. This is J. Crew. It's a great brand name, and they don't even make J. Crew anymore. They went out of business, so someone would want that. That green shirt was real pretty. This was a jacket from DKNY, another great brand name. The blouse didn't have a brand name that I recognized, but I like the pattern on it. I kept going. Stuff like that. I didn't even dig, and they just popped right out at me. And this was a muumuu. I thought it was going to be like a scarf, but it was a muumuu. So you find everything here. Okay. And then there's the shoes. The shoes. If you've ever been to a Goodwill bins and you have regulars, you will know that most of the people are there for the shoes. And the Goodwill bins I came from in Florida, people go nuts over the shoes. Look at that. That's American Eagle. Great brand. They're like snow boots, rain boots. But there's money to be made here. If you are a reseller who is just a general reseller, there's so much money just sitting at the bins for you to list. There's Converse here. I found so many different kind of brands. There's Vans. I just picked up some Vans. These are New Balance, and they looked brand new, like barely ever worn, except I could only find one of them, and I looked at the size, and it's an 8.5. So I don't mind picking up shoes, especially where they're my size, and if I could find the other one, that would be fantastic. So I held on to it. There's Crocs. There's Crocs at the bins. If you look, you will find it. There's Adidas. I found Sperry's, Nikes, just about every Skechers. There was LL Bean. I don't know what those are. I just had to show you. More Converse. There were a lot of Converse there. More Converse. And if you have the patience to clean all of these, those are Rolly shoes. There's money to be made, even if you sell them for like $8 each. There's people at the flea market that just sell nothing but shoes. All right, so here's my cart. I got a couple of little Merrell kids shoes because I figured they would be cheap. They're small. I could store them away, and they were in great condition, so I bought those. I did end up finding the other New Balance one. Those are my size. I am going to wash them and list them, and if they don't sell, I'll just keep them. And I got that Vera Bradley bag just to store everything. I found a Coach purse. My mom likes them. She might want that. Here's the JanSport I got, and I put all the ribbon and the Longaberger basket liners inside. And off to the left is my craft box and that basket I picked up. So everything combined was $13 and some odd cents, and I rounded up. So it was $14 total for all of this stuff. That is an unbelievable bargain. $14 for all of this stuff. Selling one thing online could do it all. All right, the very most important thing is when you're done with the bins, you have to wash your hands. Trust me, you're going to want to just wash your hands. So here we are in the van, back in the van, washing our hands. Pretzel is snoring. And here we are at the laundromat. Everything I just bought is now in that washing machine. I can see it all just tossing and turning. And here they are. Everything is already listed on eBay. And if you add it all up, I didn't list like everything. 90% of what I bought is now listed. And if I sold it all at what I was asking, it would be $120. That's like $100 profit. And that was just barely anything. All right, guys, thanks for watching.